Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And this video, is for those of you that saw yesterday, I put up the interview with Yuki Cohen, and I did it in a two-part video. For one, just because it was long. It was 40 minutes, 42 minutes, something like that. And it was too long, I thought, to do in one video for people to actually sit there and watch it. So I broke them down into basically two 20-minute videos. And I put part one up yesterday, and it ended right before Councilor Cohen started discussing the situation that she was recently in the media for, which was the violations at her establishment, Methuselah Bar and Lounge on North Street. So she talked about that. And anyway, where I'm going with this is the reason I'm not going to put that video out right now is in light of yesterday's decision by the Pittsfield Licensing Board. I decided I've already reached out to Councilor Cohen, and I think I want part two of that to be current based off of what happened. So those of you that saw the other post I made or saw it in the Eagle or anywhere else, Councilor Cohen, basically, she lost her license for 30 days and her entertainment license for 60 days, which is pretty serious. I know some people thought it wasn't. I think that's pretty serious. And I think all restaurant owners would tell you, that's a month shut down and 2 months without your entertainment license. That's it coming out of COVID. I don't know if she'll even reopen. There's a good chance she might not. So that's just my opinion. So I do want to talk about that licensing board meeting. I really do, because it was interesting. They played the videos that were recorded. The third video that they played, which was the longest, I had never seen that before. That was the first time I saw that one. And it was horrible. I mean, absolutely, like, oh my God. That was the worst of all of them. And I hadn't seen that. And it was, like I said, the longest. So that was really, like, I was shocked. And I went, oh my God, what has she done? It was so damning. So watching the licensing board meeting and listening to some of the questions, it was obvious. She was in some hot water. She wasn't denying it. And it was obvious. So, and like I said, that third video of the videos was just, it was horrific. It was bad. There's no way to talk yourself out of that. That was bad. And anyways, where I'm going with this is, out of nowhere, an attorney, the chair, Mr. Campoli, allowed an attorney to call in. I guess this attorney represented 10 or 11 of our local restaurants. And Tom Hamill or something like that. I probably am saying his name wrong. I thought that's what they said. Something like that. I could be completely wrong. Or I'm right. I don't know. But anyway, I found that odd. I didn't like that. I know that's going to bother some people. I did not like that at all, because I didn't find it to be relevant to what that particular incident, and it hurt from a PR point of view. That was not, it didn't help. It didn't. And I mean, I received 4 or 5 messages during that meeting of people that wanted to see Councilor Cohen have her license revoked, that said they changed their mind because of that. They believe now maybe it was there was another motivation behind it. And I didn't like that. And I completely understand the frustration of the restaurant owners. I understand all of that. In fact, when the restaurants were shut down just in Pittsfield, I was one of the key people out there doing everything I could to help get them back open. So I do understand more than most people what they're going through, because I talked to a lot of them when that happened. I understood they were concerned about staff that, needed the money and the income, and they were shut down. They didn't know what was going to happen. It was horrible. So I do understand what the business owners are going through, but you have to let the process work. And this was a legal hearing. This was like a licensing board hearing that she was going to receive some kind of punishment. So, and like I said, watching those videos when they played them, believe me, nobody needed any help showing that Councilor Cohen was completely in the wrong. She didn't even try to say she wasn't. It was horrible. But when that attorney called in and started saying things like that were not relevant, this was a hearing about a specific time frame of incidents on the night of April 15th. And I didn't understand why the chair even allowed that attorney to call in. And the reason I say that, and I know this, it probably is irritating some people that I respect a lot. And I mean, I got to be honest. Why that made me mad is because of the people who don't really pay attention to all this, but did pay attention to that. Because a lot of people did. This was in the media a lot, so a lot of people tuned into that, and they don't know the whole backstory. They don't know a lot of history. All of this. It just reinforced the one side against the other. Because now what happens when one of those restaurant owners say they have to appear for the licensing board for something? What if a bunch of other people do the same thing now and they get an attorney to call in and say, we want them gone forever? You can't interrupt the legal process like that. I think the time to get an attorney to discuss that would have been if the licensing board made a poor decision and, didn't penalize her or let her get away with it or something like that. That wasn't the case. I think the punishment of 30 days, a month without your license and 2 months without your entertainment license for a small business like Methuselah, she might not survive. There's a very good chance of that. And again, that's just my opinion, but it's a small business, and that's any restaurant owner or bar owner should tell you that. A month and 2 months without your entertainment license, coming out of the pandemic, will she even open her doors back up? And if she does, there's so much scrutiny on her that she's that close to being gone forever. So don't think that the licensing board failed on this one. They didn't. I don't think they did. I don't. A month, 2 or 3 days shut down, that I could understand restaurant owners going, hey, what's going on here? Because I believe, like the still shots and all that, I can see why Councilor Cohen is saying those aren't fair. I didn't think proprietors was treated fairly at all. I believed that what they did to them, it wasn't just unfair, they cost them a ton of money. And they had to lay off a large staff and put people out of work. That was not fair. What happened to the Rusty Anchor was not fair, in my opinion. What happened to Zucchinis was not fair. So I have to say, with Councilor Cohen, the ones with the still images, then maybe she should say those, this one she wasn't saying wasn't fair. It was what it was. The thing that made me the most upset about those still images when that whole thing came out, it wasn't so much with Councilor Cohen. I mean, it kind of was. It was who she was with, who she was serving. It was a licensing board member and a fellow city councilor who was part of what she received a fine for. That's what was bothersome to me. But anyway, I intend to follow up with Councilor Cohen. I messaged her. She replied to me. She just needs a couple days. I don't want to see the city have a lynch mob mentality. We're better than that. That's not who we are. Let the process work, and if it's working correctly, let it go. I said myself, if I had been Councilor Cohen, if that was me, I would have resigned from the city council immediately. Immediately, I just would have. It's a lot. She's in a lot of hot water. She screwed up. She knows it. Let's not make it personal. I've seen too much of that from the inside on other campaigns. I've seen how it affects families. I see how it affects their children. I did see that. And I know I've said that in a video, but when I worked for the DA's campaign, we were in the house or whatever going over something, and it was a bad day. A lot of rumors, things in the paper. But I just remember his daughter running out of the house in tears, going to sit in the car. And it was like, ugh. It hurt. Right there. Because to see this little kid who has no part of this politics or any of that, but is directly tied into it because that's her family. So people, please try to be aware of that. This is a member of our community in that way. So let's not pitchforks and torches. She is being punished for this severely. If she even reopens, everyone knows every step she makes will be followed. And if you don't want her to be on the city council, vote. And tell your neighbors and friends and everybody to vote. Because 20% of our voters voting for these, are registered voters voting for these council elections. That's ridiculous. You really want to get mad at somebody, let's figure out why 80% of our registered voters will not participate. But then everyone wants to complain. So we got to do something about that. And we have to stop the cliques and the groups. I hate it. I hate it so much. I really do. It's just, that's what I want to see. And you can't, I don't know, I can't be that negative. When I did that interview with Councilor Cohen, she was very gracious to me. I invited her. She was a guest of mine. I wasn't going to yell at her or be mean to her. I was very grateful that she did that. Maybe there was a few people that didn't like the way I asked the questions. I thought they were very relevant questions. I've never spoken to Councilor Cohen before, so even for myself, I wanted to know who she was. I don't know anything about her. So that was the point of that. And I think people are smart enough to make up their own mind. So with all the candidates, when it comes to interviews, I'm not going to interject my opinion in like I might be doing right now in that sense. You have to allow them to speak if they're allowing me their time. And I think I'm trying to get more people engaged and involved in our political system and take control of the city. And let's improve our community and end the gangs. That's what I want to see happen. So, all right. Well, that's that. So part 2 on that will be coming. And it's just, I'm going to give it a few days. And today, in about an hour, I'll have, I'm doing an interview with Brandon Maurer, so I'll have that up tomorrow. And I don't know if that'll be, how many parts that'll be, depending on the length of it. But I will have that up tomorrow. Also coming up, Karen Kalinowski. I have to call Karen and book a time for sure on that and what day we're going to do that. Let's see, who else? Earl Persip. Earl will be doing an interview with me sometime, probably in about a week and a half. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. I'm sorry. Running on a little sleep. I can't remember who it is I'm forgetting. But there is another one, and I mentioned it before. God, oh my God. Well, I am turning 50 this year. Could be happening. So that's that. So that is it for now. Sorry to mumble on like that. Hopefully no one's mad at me, but it is what it is. And just pay attention. Get involved in our politics. Vote. Run. Get more people to run. We need candidates. More candidates. Run for your ward. Run. Run for at-large. Run for anything. Run for office. Run for city clerk. That's open too. So that is it for now, and I will catch you all tomorrow with that interview with Brandon Maurer.